What is up, Star Trek fans? Welcome to another edition of Dan's Disco Deep Dives, where I take a look at the hidden bits, Easter eggs, canon connections, and theories about the latest episode of Star Trek Discovery. This week, we're taking a look at Season 2, Episode 2, New Eden. New Eden was written by Vaughn Wilmot and Sean Cochran from a story by Akiva Goldsman and Sean Cochran, directed by Jonathan Frakes. In this episode, Discovery detects another one of the red bursts, this one deep in the Beta Quadrant, some 50,000 light-years away. While the Beta Quadrant hasn't been referenced too often in other Star Treks, it is home to the Klingon and Romulan empires, and presumably where much of Discovery's first season took place. Pike mentions that it would take Discovery 150 years to travel to the coordinates. This is very much in line with Warp 7 on the original series Warp Scale, which is of course much less technologically advanced than the USS Voyager, which, over a century later, would only take 75 years to travel 70,000 light-years at maximum warp. Traveling to the location of the signal, Discovery finds a planet of humans. This has happened often in Star Trek, and while many of them are the result of some kind of parallel development, a number of civilizations have arisen like the one here on Terra Elysium, by groups of humans taken from Earth by extraterrestrials. The Native Americans discovered in the original series the Paradise Syndrome, the human settlements in the Delta Quadrant discovered in Voyager's The 37s, and the group of humans taken from Earth's 19th century in Enterprise's North Star. The people of New Eden were transported to Terra Elysium by the Red Angels during World War III. Burnham gives the death toll of the war as 600 million, a number that comes from Star Trek First Contact.
Most of the major cities have been destroyed, very few governments left. 600 million dead.
While attempting to get a sample from the dark matter asteroid, Tilly detects Metrion particles. Metrion particles have been shown to interact with dark matter in the past, and Archer and T'Pol used Metrion charges to excite dark matter in the Enterprise episode First Flight. Metrion gas has also been shown to be highly combustible, featured in Star Trek Insurrection and the Voyager episode Think Tank. Recovering in sickbay and trying to come up with a solution to the peril threatening Terra Elysium, Tilly expresses a desire to drown herself in a Raisian Mai Tai. As far as I know, this is the first reference to Raisa in Discovery, but the vacation planet was visited by the Enterprise NX-01 in 2 days and 2 nights, an episode in which the Raisian Mai Tai is also mentioned. Captain Pike cites Starfleet General Order 1 as the reason not to reveal their true origins to the inhabitants of New Eden. More commonly known as the Prime Directive, General Order 1 governs Starfleet's interactions with other societies, usually dictating strict non-interference. While not restricted to pre-warp societies, the Prime Directive is invoked most strongly in those cases, preventing Starfleet officers from revealing themselves to civilizations who have not yet achieved warp travel. It is under this restriction that Pike refuses to tell the New Edenites of Earth's survival of the Third World War. At the end of the episode, however, Pike bends the rules in service of the mission. To gain access to a soldier's helmet camera from the 2050s, Pike trades a power cell to Jacob and reveals Earth's fate. And with that, we can put Pike up on the big board of Prime Directive violations. Towards the end of the episode, Burnham visits Pike in his ready room. The door chime may sound familiar. It's very similar to the one used aboard the USS Voyager more than a century later. I've always believed that the door chimes in Star Trek were personalized, like ringtones nowadays, and people can choose from a number of different tones. Pike and Janeway must have similar tastes. Speaking of sound effects, this one is pretty obscure, but bear with me. When Pike and company discover the distress call that has been broadcasting for 200 years, we hear a distinctive radio noise.
The battery's dead, but...
Sound familiar?
This is strange. Someone jury-rigged it to continue transmitting the distress call.
And you answered.
This sound effect was previously used for a Romulan transmission in the original series episode Balance of Terror, as well as a number of other occasions in the original series when random radio noises were needed.
Picking up communication, sir. It's from their ship.
Pipe it in.
Before I get to my theory this week, I thought I'd take a quick look at some of the theories that you all posted in the comments of last week's video. Botrek says, I think there's something up with Reno. She has either encountered the Red Angel and is not saying, or she is the Red Angel. And definitely an interesting thought. I like the idea that there's more to this character than we know. And I also like the idea that maybe she knows something she's not letting on, and we'll figure into the plot later. Stefan Seitz says, I don't know about the Red Angel, but I have some wild ideas. They are seen in states of heightened emotional distress. So what if they react to some chemical process in the brain which opens to their plane of existence? I would love if they are not a villain per se, but a first contact may be a communication attempt that's misunderstood. Definitely a good thought. I think back to Burnham's voiceover in the first episode where she talks about people's minds being open and able to receive this hidden message the universe gives them, so maybe there's something to that for sure. Bill Carrolley says, some think the fortune suggests the original Lorca will return. I'm assuming you mean the Prime Universe Lorca, the non-mirror universe. That's definitely a good thought. I hadn't thought of that, but that definitely could be something to do with that fortune, especially the not every loss being eternal. SC says, I think that the angels and red bursts will tie to the Telosians, not the Iconians. As Disco traveled to the red burst, it was not there, but possibly a mirage, and the red angel a possible mirage. And we know how the Telosians are fond of their mirages. Definitely a good point, SC. They did say mirage, which is, something that is definitely tied to Telosian, so you may be onto something there. Agra Perma says, as theories go, my favorite is that the Red Angels are the Iconians. If it is them, I can see them being upset over the use of the spore drives as interfering with their gateway network. Life in the galaxy has drawn their attention because of the threat they perceive. I see a couple skirmishes with them in the series, but nothing major, and I believe a treaty will be had with them, and we won't see more of them until Picard's new series, which takes place after the destruction of Hobus. Definitely a good thought. This is a theory that's been around a while for sure, that the Red Angels in Season 2 are the Iconians. The Iconians, of course, you may know from the TNG second season episode Contagion, as well as the DS9 fourth season episode To the Death. And they've not shown up in canon Star Trek besides that. They do play a big part in the Star Trek Online universe, which I did play when it first was around, but I've drifted away from it in recent years, so I understand the looks of them in Star Trek Online kind of match up what we see in Discovery, so you never know, they could be going this way for sure. However, for my theory this week, I personally like to think that the Red Angels are in fact something that we've never seen before, something that's new to Star Trek. I have no evidence to back this up, I just kind of am going with a gut feeling on this. However, I do think that they are manipulating events to conform the galaxy or the events in the galaxy to their design. For now, I think their end goal is actually benevolent. I think they are actually trying to help people and prevent loss of life. They acted to save the people of New Eden during World War III by transporting them to the Terralisium planet. Why those people and not others? I'm really not sure. I go back to Burnham's voiceover in the first episode saying that particular people whose minds are open will receive the message, the secret contained in the Milky Way. So, there's something special about these people and maybe special about the people who've been seeing the Red Angels. As far as manipulating events goes, we still don't know why the Enterprise was so badly damaged between Season 1 and 2, necessitating that Pike take command of the USS Discovery to continue the investigation into the Red Bursts. It may be that these Red Angels are manipulating events so closely that they had to ensure that Pike would take command of Discovery, knowing that the Discovery spore drive would need to be used in this second episode where they go and save the residents of New Eden. In order for them to do this, they had to time it perfectly that Pike would take over the Discovery before she reached Vulcan and had her new captain come aboard, and also lost Lieutenant Stamets to the posting at the Vulcan Science Academy. The ultimate question of why are they doing this, I'm really not sure, but I think their motivation will definitely become more apparent as the season goes on. I also think that possibly the apparition of May Ahern might have been, again, the Red Angels really closely manipulating events. Keep in mind, it was mere minutes that they had until the radioactive debris created an extinction level event on the planet. So, I really think that they may have been manipulating events to get Tilly to enact that plan just in time, because they could have lost everything if Tilly was just a minute later with that. So Ahern pushed her to kind of realize the solution. That's my theory anyway. Well, thank you all for watching. I, of course, want to hear your theories. Leave them in the comments below. What do you think is going on with Discovery, and any other theories you may have about the series and the Red Angels and the Red Bursts and all that good stuff. Welcome to all the new subscribers who came since last week. Lots of new subscribers, which I really am appreciative of. Thank you so much and welcome aboard. Thank you to the Patreon supporters for supporting this channel. I really do appreciate it. That draw for Season 1 of Star Trek Discovery on Blu-ray is now over. I do have all the names that I will be putting in a draw and drawing sometime next week to see who will win my Blu-ray copy of Season 1 of Discovery, so keep an eye out for that next week. Thank you all so much for watching this video, and until the next video, I think we should all return to the church and pray for another deliverance.